Friday, everybody. Max Scoville here for DTOID with some news for you. Usually I try to put up these videos on Thursday, but there was a bee on the camera, so we did not film it. Actually, we had some technical difficulties, and it's been a hell of a week. On Tuesday, I had nothing but bad news for you, and it was a lot of depressing things about video games and business and money and things that we don't like to hear about that aren't fun. However, today we actually have some wonderful, fun news about those cool things you put into your game consoles, games. For starters, Alessandro Filari checked out Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, which is the upcoming open-world sandbox action RPG adventure coming by way of Monolith Studios, who are the guys who did Fear and No One Lives Forever and Condemned. Now, if you are a diehard fan of the Tolkien books, this might be a game that pisses you off because it definitely seems to be approaching Lord of the Rings from the more dude bro angle, and it's kind of taking place pretty much in the movie universe. The game takes place between The Hobbit and Fellowship of the Ring, and you play as a ranger by the name of Talion, who apparently was stationed at the Black Gate of Mordor, and then a whole bunch of orcs came by and killed him, and then he came back because a wraith showed up and resurrected him, and so he goes into Mordor to fight some orcs, and he has wraith powers. What do you know? If you, again, are a fan of the lore and you're really familiar with all the Tolkien canon, I'm sure this is just completely rubbing you the wrong way. But as far as a game goes, it actually looks pretty cool. Now, as far as objectives go, it sounds like pretty standard fare for any kind of a sandbox action game. There are different orc encampments around Mordor, and you have to go and, take them out however you choose to go about that. You can do it stealthily, or you can just go in with your swords and your bows and arrows and fight all the orcs. What's interesting here, though, is that the enemies are apparently procedurally generated, and you will get a different selection of various orcs and goblins and that sort of thing on each playthrough, and they will actually kind of grow with you. It's called the Nemesis system, and if, for instance, one of them runs away during a fight, he will remember you, Talion, and he will come back and get you. So it's an attempt to add kind of more flavor to each subsequent playthrough of the game. In addition to your typical ranger abilities, you've also got these cool ghost powers thanks to being resurrected by this wraith. This looks kind of like a cross between, I don't know, bullet time and detective mode, but also with some blink teleporting going on there. One of the wraith powers that's actually really cool, in addition to the ghost abilities and so forth, is you can actually take control of enemies and make them do stuff. So you can have your own kind of minions. You can actually assign a minion to go forth and assassinate one of his superiors, or attempt to do so. You can effectively hack a goblin archer and have him provide backup for you. It sounds like there's a lot of different mechanics happening in this game, a lot of cool stuff going on. It'll be curious to see how it all fits together. As a side note, if this game looks like it has some Assassin's Creed in it, you're not the only one who thinks so. Charles Russell, who was one of the guys who worked on AC2, who's currently at Cappy Games working on Below, pointed out that it looks very familiar, and he spent 2 years working on Assassin's Creed 2, so he would know. He's not exactly accusing Monolith of, stealing assets or anything, but it seems like it's possible that Ubisoft is licensing out bits and pieces of the AC2 engine. So that's curious, but yeah. Assassin's Creed Lord of the Rings. I'm not terribly opposed to that. Another game that Alessandro checked out was Thief, which is the what technically is Thief 4, I guess, but they're kind of treating it like a whole fresh reboot. This is Eidos Montreal doing this, and fans of the original Thief series have been kind of upset about what they've seen so far, and I guess with good reason. One of the things that really bothered people was the XP system with headshot points being awarded for stealth kills and stuff like that. That apparently has been taken out. Another thing that's an issue is the difficulty. People were concerned that the classic kind of hardcore stealth action of the previous games was going to be just totally nerfed the hell out for all the casuals. Apparently the difficulty is totally dynamic in this, and you can adjust it yourself. There are 3 basic settings: easy, medium, and Master Thief. And then, of course, there's also custom. So you can choose, black market prices. You can select whether or not you want it to be an automatic fail if you get noticed or caught. On top of that, the HUD is also customizable. So if you are one of those people who's really picky about how your game looks, it looks like those guys are giving you some control over that. Alessandro said he wasn't a huge fan of the combat, which is kind of to be expected because it is primarily a stealth game, though he said that, parrying with the blackjack and trying to dodge enemy attacks just felt kind of clumsy, and he wasn't crazy about it, though it does kind of encourage players to take a more stealthy approach. And Alessandro did say that as a stealth game, it felt quite good and had him actually reflecting on how he approached stealth as a player. Thief is coming out in just about a month. That's February 25th, and that's coming to PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC. So if you're impatient, you don't have too long to wait. Anyway, Alessandro played the first 4 hours of the game, so he had a lot to say. Go check out his full write-up on Destructoid.com, along with his Lord of the Rings one. He's been busy. Another game that is coming up very soon is The Elder Scrolls Online, which is coming to PC and Mac on April 4th, and then coming to PS4 and Xbox One in June following that. What's new with that? Well, we found out it's getting an M rating, which shouldn't be any kind of a surprise. What we also found out is that ZeniMax Online is putting their money where the mouth is. That was an awkward segue to try and say they announced the voice cast. Voice actors for the game include John Cleese, aka Lancelot, Michael Gambon, better known as Dumbledore, Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus himself, or that cool cokehead guy from Boogie Nights, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, and Bill Nighy, not the science guy, but Billy Mack from Love Actually. He's great. Peter Stormare, that guy who was in Fargo and is better known as Carl Hungus, or as one of the nihilists who throws the marmot in the bath in The Big Lebowski. And then, of course, there's Kate Beckinsale, who's, I don't know her character's name, but she's in like 5 Underworld movies. And then on top of all that, because she isn't in every other video game, the lovely Jennifer Hale, aka Miss Femshep herself. So if there is any confusion why ZeniMax Online is charging $60 for Elder Scrolls Online and then $15 a month on top of that, it might have something to do with that cast. If nothing else, it's gonna sound great. Now, speaking of Dr. Octopus, we got a new trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is based on the new movie, which is coming out this summer. What do we know about this game? Well, it's developed by Beanox, who did the game for the first movie, and it's got Kraven in it, who seems like he's actually helping Spider-Man become a hunter. Apparently that game wasn't too bad for a licensed one, and the next one is looking pretty decent too. That's coming to 360 and PS3 and PS4 and Xbox One and probably a whole bunch of other systems on top of that. If you like trailers, you can go watch that. Speaking of trailers, probably the best trailer to come out this week is the one for Jazzpunk, which is a live-action trailer that basically does kind of a Leslie Nielsen airplane-esque spoof of bad mid-90s cyberpunk, so like Johnny Mnemonic, but if he was like Johnny Moronic. Go watch this, please. It's so cool. I believe this trailer is actually being done by the guys who did the trailers, the live-action trailers for Soma, that creepy new one that the Amnesia developers are working on. Anyway, Jazzpunk is coming to Mac and PC on February 7th, so pay attention to that one. God, I want to play this game. It looks awesome. Finally, if you're following what the cool kids are doing in Japan, you might have heard about Yokai Watch. It is a 3DS game that also has a manga and an anime to go with it. And it's basically Pokemon, but with ghosts, and it has that lovely level 5 kind of art direction to it. Well, I've been kind of close to pay attention to whether if I can get it for myself, and I might get that because apparently level 5 filed a trademark for the US. So if you like ghosts, good news, everybody. Finally, there's a game coming out that's a golf game, and it's called The Golf Club. Golf clap, everybody. That's a stupid name for a game. Anyway, that is the news for the latter half of this week. I'm sorry this episode was so late. If you have any fun questions or comments or mean things to say about my hair, leave them in the comments below. And for all your other gaming news, check out Destructoid.com. I am Max Scoville. Have a great weekend.